Hello, and welcome to Stuff We Play, home of everything weird and retro. And, you know how I did that entire marathon back in May where I talked about Mega Man games? Let's talk about Mega Man games again, just for today. And we're talking about my favorite game that I admitted was, as far as I can view it as a critic, is completely terrible, but that I weirdly love, Mega Man X6. Specifically in the comments of that video, I've been recommended a ROM hack called Mega Man X6 Tweaks. So what is Mega Man X6 Tweaks? Well, it's created by some folks who've posted over on romhacking.net. Specifically for this video, I was playing version 2.6. Yes, I have notes off to the side. But version 2.6 from August of this year. When I looked at Mega Man X5 earlier this year, I mentioned a ROM hack called Mega Man X5 Improvement. It basically made the game go from what I considered a mixed bag to one that I honestly think would be a great starting point if you play with that, ROM patch applied. I guess ISO patch, you know what I mean. Mega Man X6 Tweaks aims to do the same thing with X6, which is interesting because while I think X5's flaws come from it trying to do a bit too much all at once and that kind of holding it back a bit, X6's issues are a bit more fundamental. Don't get me wrong, at its heart, there's still fun gameplay. It's still built off like the same game engine as Mega Man X4, which is one of my favorite games on the PS1. But the game itself, like the level design isn't great in a lot of points. I mean, there's Blaze the Heat Nix's stage where you're literally just fighting like 7 of the same boss over and over again. So let's go over a bit of this. I will be referring to my notes as needed. And yeah. Before we dive into the wonderful world of Mega Man X6, for the second time ever on this channel, let me tell you about today's sponsor, the TunesKit AceMovi video editor. Which, fun fact, I'm using to edit this bit right here, right now. So I used to do video editing for others professionally, and with that came experience in a variety of editing software. One of the biggest barriers for new video editors, though, is price point. You want something that's more capable than your average Windows Movie Maker, but that doesn't break the bank. And at only $40 for a year-long subscription or $60 for lifetime access, AceMovi really is a beginner NLE that's a solid step up from your average iMovie, but at an affordable price. You can import clips simply by dragging and dropping with an overall layout that should be intuitive to even those who have just played around with iMovie on occasion. Tasks such as retiming clips and color correction can even be done with ease. There's even a bunch of high-quality preloaded assets too, from transitions to text templates to even some remarkably solid stock music pieces that you can just download for free in software. Exporting is as easy as clicking from a drop-down menu, and a whole variety of codecs are supported too. Plus, for additional tips and tricks on how to improve your edits, you can subscribe to AceMovi's YouTube channel for updates on the regular. To try out AceMovi for free today, start by following the link in the description below and give it a good old look. So with that, let's dive into what makes Mega Man X6 Tweaks so different from the base version of the game. The most obvious thing is in Mega Man X6 proper, spoiler alert, Zero is presumed dead. Mega Man X's boob-lighted buddy with the long hair, my favorite femboy, yeah, he's presumed dead. Except if you go through an alternate path, because yeah, alternate paths are things and stages that lead to bosses that are secret bosses. You can fight Nightmare Zero and unlock Zero that way. However, you input a code here, you can unlock Zero from the beginning, and he has some new dialogue and everything. It's really cool. You can also fight Nightmare Zero, and it's a bitch and a half. What's really cool actually is they changed how the Nightmare Soul system works here. So let me explain what nightmares are if you aren't in the loop on Mega Man X6. Nightmare is the word of the day when it comes to Mega Man X6. A space colony crashed into Earth, and it's up to Mega Man X and his team of Maverick Hunter peeps to clean up the surface, and there's an asshole called Gate. He goes insane after discovering a thing of Zero's DNA because he was killed in the space colony thing. Yes, it's really this convoluted. And a new shadowy thing called Zero Nightmare appears, which yeah, is the purple guy. There's also something called the Nightmare Effect, where if you've played Mega Man X1, if you beat a certain stage, it causes effect in another. So like if you beat Chill Penguin and go to Flame Mammoth stage, the Fire and Flame Mammoth stage will freeze over, it lets you get some special heart tank upgrades and stuff. They tried something similar, but it's weird. I don't know if this is how it actually works, but say you go through Infinity Maginian stage, then suddenly a bunch of, say, like Grainy Turtleoid stage will turn red. On the stage select screen, that'll show that if you go in, it'll do this weird stage darkening thing. Except it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes a stage will just have the nightmare effect for a reason I don't know. And it gets stupid at times. Like, for example, if you beat Blaze Heatnix and go to Blizzard Wolffang stage, fireballs will start raining down, and that randomly will just cause a special secret path to, you know, be open to you, and you'll be able to go through and get a Dr. Light capsule upgrade. It's a really dumb system. So X6 Tweaks is immediately better because not only can you get 0 right off the bat by using a code, but you can disable the nightmare effect. And also the few unskippable alias scenes. Yeah, you could skip most of these in the original, but now they're pretty much all disableable, and I'm kind of here for it. And basically anything that was reliant on the nightmare effect for you to get, you just don't need it. They also revamped the part system, and going back to the nightmare system, so a lot of those parts that you get that use to upgrade yourself, like the jumper part that lets you jump farther, or the speedster part that lets you go faster, or the saber extend, which literally just extends the length of Zero's Z-Saber sword. Those Reploids are scattered throughout the stages, and if you rescue them, they may or may not give you a part. They'll for sure restore a tiny bit of health and give you an extra life. But there are these little tentacle monster assholes called the Nightmares. And if you beat them, they drop these blue orbs, which up your hunter rank. And at a certain point, you can unlock certain cutscenes. And the original, if you beat one of those, you could only get the orb the first time. Now the Nightmare viruses are grindable. It also used to be in the original that if you let one of them get a hold of one of the rescuable Reploids, it just turned them evil. And then if you killed them, they'd be gone. They'd be dead. And if you missed out on a part, sucks to suck. You can't 100% the game. So that's just not a thing anymore. You can grind Nightmare viruses for their Nightmare souls. And they made the requirements to get some special cutscenes easier, which I'm all here for. The story has also been retranslated, and they've given it a more readable font, which is also something that was done in X5 Improvement. Admittedly, the story is still a barely coherent mess. That said, you can turn the voice acting off and on. That said, even the American version of the game, there's only Japanese voice acting. Now, I mentioned those heart tanks and whatnot. There are some other parts you get, like energy ups and life ups, which would extend your energy meters and life bars. So it used to be where you'd have to split those between X and 0. If you get the Dr. Light capsules, you get parts for new armors for X. In X5 and X6, there are 2 armor sets a game, which is cool, but you couldn't use parts as you got them. You'd have to get the complete armor set. If you're saying, wow, that's dumb as shit, why can't I use these parts I've already gotten? I agree, it is dumb as shit. And they fix that here. Speaking of which, Unarmored X in the original did not have an air dash. The Shadow Armor, which by the way does not use special weapons where you can walk on spikes and stuff, couldn't air dash either. However, because of how poorly designed some of X6's levels are, especially like in, I think Commander Yanmark's alternate path comes to mind, and like one section of the Gates Lab stages, you didn't have an air dash in those forms, so the game was literally unbeatable as Unarmored X. Well, now Unarmored X and Shadow Armor X have an air dash, it's just part of their base moveset. Big success. Good change. I like that. Now, there are a couple of changes that I would have liked to have seen or that I didn't like. For example, something I really liked in X4, X5, and X6, I forget if X7, X8 did this, where if you game overed in a stage, it would start you back from the last checkpoint. This basically made lives meaningless, because that's also what happens if you lost a life. And X6 tweaks, if you game over, it just starts you back from the beginning of the stage, which I feel like actually actively makes the game less accessible. I couldn't find a way to disable this change, like I could with the Nightmare system, or the voice acting, or the cutscenes. And it seemed almost like a mean-spirited change, because I really had no issue with how the lives worked before. And because of that, I dare say this isn't a hack that makes X6 a place to start with, like X5 Improvement did. Rather, if you've played through it before, or you're a longtime Megaman X fan who's like, I really like X1 through X4 or even X5, but X6 kind of looks kind of garbo. You know, you'll probably appreciate it more from that. They've made some tweaks some stages, like in Commander Yanmark's stage, there's a very infamous Leap of Death. Those have now been made easier, I appreciate that. In addition, one of the worst bosses in the series is called the Nightmare Mother. That's had its health bar cut in half. I'm so here for that. But I don't like the live change, and I don't like how you still can only damage Gate in the fight against him by shooting his own projectiles back at him. Because that fight just fucking drags, y'all. The final thing I really do want to mention here, though, is that at its core, X6 is still a really flawed game. The story is barely coherent. Some stages, such as Metal Shark Players, are just bad. Blaze Heatnixes is a bunch of the same mini-bosses. Gates Lab Stage 2 should have been divided into 2 stages. It has 2 boss fights, like what the hell is with this? And why is Sigma back? It makes no sense. Boss fight's still really easy though. And they also fixed some glitches, you know, like if you brought Zero to Commander Yermark stage while you had Rainy Turtleoid's weapon equipped, you could actually glitch it so that you could become invincible throughout the duration of the stage until you hit the boss. And they fixed that so now that Shield Sheldon's weapon actually works properly and you can't use Rainy Turtleoid's weapon as Zero while kneeling down. And like that's a glitch I actually really enjoyed. And I know that's really funny to say. I miss being able to break the game in half like I could, but you know. What I'm getting at is that it doesn't fix the game. Like, oh god, Ground Scaravich's stage is literally RNG still. To get the last light armor I needed for this gameplay you're watching, I literally had to play through the stage 7 times, because it literally randomly selects what section of the stage will go through and which runs, and I could not get to the section of the Dr. Light capsule for the life of me. And I was just about to give up when I finally did a run that put me through there. But if you want, with how the game is set up, you can avoid some of those shittier stages, which is not great game design saying, well, if you don't want to play the garbage stages, you just don't have to play them, because no, maybe the bad stages just should not be bad, and there should have been more quality control. What I'm getting at is this. The game is way more polished now, and I really appreciate the effort put in by the folks behind this patch. But in my opinion, you can polish a turd all you want, but it will still reek of shit. Also, a game can still be very flawed and still be something you enjoy, because I just called this game a piece of shit and I come back and play it a few times a year. So anyways, on that note, if you like this style of video, let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of enjoying going back to the more unscripted but with bullet points type of format I used to do. If you want to get early content or exclusive content, you can back me on Patreon and join the people you see right here for as low as $1 a month. And let me know in the comments below. Do you want me to take a look at more ROM hacks and stuff again? I kind of stopped for a while because my vibe kind of shifted more towards hardware. And I'll still be doing more hardware vids and stuff, but you know, new home, new year, new me? Question mark. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. Stay classy, and I'll see you. I did not mean for my voice to crack. I'm very much so getting over a cold still. But I will see you next time.